So the 3D has you all messed up, does it? Well, let's sort it out. The 3D exists because of the mental state that you are currently in. And not just currently in that mental state, but habitually being in that current state. So when Neville Goddard says to you, get into the state of the wish fulfilled, listen, you are already in the state of a wish fulfilled. Well, how else would you see the evidence of it if you weren't living it? So how do you change it? First of all, recognize that the law of correspondence exists. What is the law of correspondence? As above, so below. As within, so without. So whatever the contents of your mind holds to be true, whether it is real or not, meaning an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. So if you've heard perhaps your whole life that you'll be just like your daddy, you're no this, you're no that. Oh, there's no money in that, why do it? Okay, so you've heard that your whole life. Now, because you've heard it your whole life, it doesn't make it true. But you know what makes it true? The fact that you've heard it your whole life makes it true. Not because it is, only because you've heard it so many times. So now when you want to go out and do something, your state of the wish fulfilled is, nah, there's no money in that, I can't do it. So then you must see the evidence of what it is you are living. So what is the evidence? Not being successful at what you want to do, starting and never finishing. All this saying, you see, I told you I wasn't good enough. That is the state of the wish fulfilled. Because why? It is what you believe beyond the shadow of a doubt. You don't question it. You just run with it because you've been running with it this whole time. So it has become real and it has become true and it has taken on the tones of reality for you. So now that you hear, to manifest something, you've got to live in the state of the wish fulfilled. You already live in a state. The thing is to identify what state you live in. And how do you know what state you live in? The 3D. What's the 3D? Your things that you experience. That's the 3D. You know, the things you can touch, squeeze, taste, and smell. That's the 3D. But the 3D cannot be there without you first holding what you deem to be true. So stop hating on the 3D. Stop being frustrated with the 3D. You cannot be frustrated with the thoughts of your own mind. If you don't like the thoughts in your own mind, if you don't like your behaviors, well, change them. How do you change them? Because that's real easy to say positively, Angela. That's real easy. It's so easy. Everybody is doing it. Well, here's how you change your state. First of all, step 1, identify the current state and decide whether or not you like it. Because if you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, what would you like it to be instead? This leads us to step 2. What would it be like if you were living in the state of the wish fulfilled that you wanted? You want more money in the bank. You want to be successful. You want to be happily married. You want to be gainfully employed. What would that feel like to you? When you get up and you brush your teeth and you look in the mirror and you see that you're successful and you brush your teeth, you're not going to brush your teeth with the attitude of, my life sucks. It's never going to be the same. No, you would not brush your teeth with that attitude. You would not have that downward drawing sensation of woe is me. No, you wouldn't have that sensation as you brushed your teeth. What would it feel like if you brushed your teeth from the state of the wish fulfilled? Now you'll brush your teeth a little bit differently. What would it feel like if you drank your favorite cup of tea that you always drink every day from your state of success? You are an established author. You're world-renowned. Listen, you're so rich, you're like Scrooge McDuck, rolling naked in the money in the basement. You think you're going to roll naked in your money in the basement and be, no, you would not. You would walk down the street with a new attitude because that feeling in your body would be, oh, that's right, I did it. I put in the work. Yeah, this feels nice. People are looking at you. How are they looking at you? What are they whispering about you? Now, here's the best part of that. What it would feel like. What would it be like if you were living in the state of the wish fulfilled, your ideal life? We all know the word hater. We have haters, don't we? I could care less. But what are they going to be whispering? Oh, look at them. They think they got it all together. They think they so special. Well, listen, even in their insults about you, those insults confirm the fact that you are successful. So why let it bother you? So remember, step 1, identify your current state. Step 2, what would it be like if you were living in the state of the wish fulfilled? What would that feel like to your body? How would you do your most mundane of tasks? Would you take more time to eat? To chew? Would you actually savor every flavor that crossed your tongue? Well, tell you why. Because if you were living in the state of the wish fulfilled, listen, you would go to the best restaurant and you would get that dish that you love. And when you cut into it, you would savor every bite. Because you're living in the state of the wish fulfilled. So now, what you do as step 3, every time you look out into the world, because your eyes are wide open and you can see that foolishness, pull up that sensation again. And how do you pull it up? What would it be like? What would it be like if I were living in the state of my wish fulfilled? And as soon as it begins to course through your body as you entertain it, you are in the state of the wish fulfilled. Well, go back to that state 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 times every day for like 30 seconds. Every day, 40 seconds. Every day, 60 seconds. Do you know why? Because now you are making that state a habit. But how do you form a habit? By doing the same thing the same way every time. So how did you get into your current state of the wish fulfilled? By going back and entertaining those inner conversations, sometimes all day, every day. Somebody calls you on the phone. You've got to tell them all about it. You see how long you spent in that state? And you confirm that state by way of your inner conversations every single day? Well, now you have to do that with this new state. You have to persist in the new state. You persist in the new state by bringing up that sensation. Well, how do you bring it up? Ask yourself, what would it be like if I was living my ideal life? What would that feel like to me? And that's how you begin to tell a new story in your world. Oh, sure, it seems like it's your imagination. But what are you doing otherwise when you complain? You are in your imagination when you complain too. So what's the difference between the two? Polarity. One is pointing you in the direction of where you want to go, and the other is keeping you where you are. So when Neville Goddard tells you to order your inner conversations aright, he's telling you, choose the way you speak to yourself, because the way you speak to yourself will move you. And the way you are moved is the way you will act. And the way you act, well, there you have your destiny. So let this thing go about the 3D is beating me down. The 3D has no power to beat you down. The 3D exists because you give it life. You breathe life into it because that is the state you presently occupy. But you see, some of us are so married to that state. But we're only married to that state out of habit. Not because it is who we are, but because it is out of habit. So, step 1, identify your present state. We identify our present state based upon our experiences of what we see and do in the 3D. Is it desirable? Yay! No. If it is not desirable, what would it be like if I were living in my ideal state? That would be desirable. So now you begin to entertain all of those things that you could possibly think of. What you would say, how you would brush your teeth, how you would drink your tea, how you would wear your hat, how you would walk down the street, how you drive your car. how you'd manage your haters, how you'd manage your supporters. That's what happens mentally. And you return to that inner conversation as many times throughout the day and sustain that conversation for as long as you can sustain it. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yes. Why? Because it will begin to set itself as your new habitual state. And the habitual state will dictate the behavior that you do, which is the experiences you will have in the outside world. So you don't have to look for individual things. Just get into the state of the wish fulfilled of all the things you want. And as you remain faithful to that new state, so it takes on the tones of reality and becomes your new habit, well, then all of the things that you want will just sprinkle into your existence. Without what? Any effort. Without you having to raise a hand or raise a finger to make it work. And what that means, I'll give you in another video. Much love to you all.